Final time then for the Gran Turismo Nations Cup. This is how it's going to line up. All of these cars, by the way, in the liveries representing their particular nation. So you can see the Hungarian Red Bull X 2014 on pole position. So Hungary then will have pole. Will they be leading down towards that crucial first corner? France alongside them, the blue, white and red machine. Row 2 headed by Spain. Red and yellow machine, very easy to distinguish. Alongside them, it's Brazil. Brazil having had a bit of a mixed run so far, I think it's fair to say, in this Nations Cup. The United States of America heading row 3 of the grid. And alongside them, it is Great Britain. British racing green for the Brits here this afternoon. Then the next row, Hong Kong in the red and white machine. And alongside Hong Kong, it is Japan in the white and red machine. Next row of the grid, Australia, keep an eye out for them as well. Flashes of speed we've seen through them throughout this evening, but not the consistency. Austria as well, home track, home venue here at the Red Bull Ring. Italy down in 11th position on the final row of the grid. And completing the 12 teams rather, I should say, it is Germany. So what will they be able to do? They'll be hoping for some kind of a good amount of fortune going down towards that first turn. So it is going to be a rolling start for these drivers. Pressure is on. Double points to remind you, and a 22-lap race. Driver changes to be made for the teams as well. Let's see what they will do when they come into the pit lane and when they will elect to run those strategies. Out of the final corner we go though. Gran Turismo World Tour here at the Red Bull Ring. The final for the Nations Cup is underway, and it's a great start for Hungary. The slipstream already coming into effect. Very, very difficult to try and judge your braking point down in towards turn 1. Spain already thinking about a move, but the top 3 lining astern, not changing positions. The United States of America moving up ahead of Brazil. They move up. Britain also making some grounds. Brazil now dropping down the order, so they've had an incident by the looks of things at the first turn. Everybody scything past them through the field. So big drama here, and you can see in the background Brazil right at the very back of the pack as Spain and the USA go side by side. Great Britain and Japan also going side by side.
Very clean start from these guys, Fran. It can be very tempting to throw one up the inside at one of these corners, but everyone's been nice and good so far. France up the inside of Hungary for the lead of the race.
Whoa!
Hungary going to go around the outside, use the downforce of that X 2014. He'll now have the inside for the double left, but France is going to have the momentum coming out. I think Hungary's going to pull back in front here. Here we go into the left-hander. You can run nice and wide here. France contact between the two. France still alongside. How is this possible at this point? France using the downforce. Hungary then comes back to the inside. Spain was a bit of this as well in the background. France pulls ahead. What a move!
Surely this can't be sustainable for the remainder of this race. The pit stops are going to be very, very crucial in this one. France, though, do manage to lead the way. You can see America trying to attack Spain as well, coming into the penultimate turn, into the final corner. France versus Hungary. On board, we ride with Hungary. Some crucial points to mention as this gap will indeed shrink going down towards the first corner. We'll mention that in a few moments. Here come Hungary down the inside at turn number 1. Will they manage to outbrake France? They get the move done and dusted. They get the apex as well, and they take back the race lead.
Absolutely fantastic action so far. In the background is Spain, US, Japan, all close together. Hungary still defending from France. These are the downforce machines, so the slipstream's very strong around here. France looking to the outside yet again. Well, I don't think... Oh, here comes Spain.
Spain, look at that. What a great run they had under brakes.
Nowhere to go, though. Nowhere to go. Hungary is stopped on the apex at this point. Hungarian driver looking to the right-hand side to defend. The Spanish driver looking to buzz all around to the mirror saying, look, I'm here, don't look in front, look at me.
The Spanish commentators next door to us there, Jimmy, as well, are going absolutely crazy. Look at Japan as well, finding their way through onto the rostrum ahead of France. So France from the lead of the race at the start of this lap are down into 4th place. And Germany as well from the back of the grid are up into 6th place.
Germany, of course, not really possible for them to win this competition right now, but they are determined to go out on a high. Hungary first, Spain second, Japan France 4th, and Great Britain in that British racing green X 2014 in 5th position. Looking back now from Japan, look at how close France gets here. Looks to the inside of the last corner. There's an incident involving the Japanese and the United States drivers, so we'll get into that very shortly and we'll see what happened there.
Look at the heartbeat as well. You can see for Japan, it's pretty much a constant 110 there and thereabouts, so really going pretty heavy at the moment as we drive with the Japanese driver. We ride on board with him through the first corner. Hong Kong getting the better of the USA. The United States of America going tumbling down the order, down into 10th position then for them, considering they were battling nearly inside the top 5 in the opening couple of laps. That is a big disappointment. One thing to mention, whilst we just have a quick break in the overtaking moves and the drama on track, is that these X2014s are not like the ones they'll have been using at home, and not like the ones you'll have been using at home either. There's less aero on these cars, so they're a lot more slippery, and there's more air resistance there as well. So it does make things very, very tricky indeed for these drivers to handle and adapt to so quickly.
And of course, bear in mind, we do have the tyre wear as well being very high, so even with the downforce, these cars are going to struggle as we come through some of the corners. You can see there times 11 on the tyre wear, so every lap is 11 laps on the tyres, and here we are again.
Spain running wide. Is that going to allow Japan to get onto the back of them? Surely coming into the final couple of corners, Spain know that they made a duff of that as well. They already go defensive, but fortunately for them, they don't manage to get passed by Japan or France or Great Britain, who are immediately behind them.
Assuming a lot of this is actually going to depend on pit stops and how fast the guys can get in and out of the pit lane. We expect to see a stop at the end of lap 8 or so, but we'll get to that in a minute as the car's snaking down the pit straight, all looking for that little bit of slipstream. Now coming up through T1. Long run towards T2. Some consider this right-left to be 2 corners. I don't, frankly. They're completely flat and very easy in pretty much any car. Then up to the real T2. As Jack said before the race started, you can break up here very late because of the gravity. Japan up the inside of Spain. That was contact, I think, there, Tom.
And Spain goes round! Spain goes round! Big drama, that's going to compromise. Oh, and Germany caught up as well. Big drama on lap 4 here. Germany having nowhere to go, completely unsighted in that. The innocent victims in an incident that wasn't their fault. And Spain and Germany's race goes absolutely southwards then. Very, very disappointing for both nations.
Well, that was great for Great Britain, if you excuse the wordplay there. They're now up into 3rd position. Of course, there is now incidents being looked at.
Yeah, we've got one for Spain and Germany there, Jimmy, and we've got one also for Australia and Germany there as well. So let's keep an eye on that and see how that goes. Spain and Japan, rather, we should say. So let's see how that will go. Here is Japan, then they're now in 2nd position, but are they going to get a penalty from race direction? Let's see if we can piece together what happened. Here is Japan up the inside.
Just contact, it seems. It looks like actually Spain got loose on the exit, tried to hit the throttle to straighten it up, and of course just caught up the cars in the background who came into the corner unsighted. It's actually created a little bit of a gap between 3rd and 4th place, and that's very important around here because slipstream is how these cars are staying together. Now there's a gap, these guys might be able to put away, but we'll have to wait and see. Great Britain now on the back of the slipstream of Japan. Not going to be close enough up into T2 here.
Yeah, Great Britain really closing up that gap though there, Jimmy. They're on the podium at the moment. They are going to be trying to get themselves a race victory. They've got 3 supremely talented drivers, as have all of the nations here this evening as well, and they're going to try and find themselves onto that top step of the podium if they can. And penalty for Japan, 5 seconds then they've been given following that incident. So the stewards here have deemed Japan to be at fault. So 2nd place then is going to go for a Burton for Great Britain. They're going to find their way past pretty much with a good amount of ease at the next penalty point.
And that will, of course, yes, promote GB up to 2nd. But as things stand, Hungary with the lead. If the race ended now, Hungary would be your Nations Cup champion. So Hungary don't really have to do much in this race in terms of finishing position. They can finish pretty much wherever they like. And there, look at that. No, slow down. Japan back down to 5th. And GB now in a place they haven't been throughout this competition so far, right on the back of the leader.
Well, the last time Great Britain went for gold was probably the 2012 Olympics. But this is absolutely fantastic. Down towards the first corner. Great Britain closing on Hungary through the first turn. These Red Bull X2014 machines, absolutely brilliant, and a great run for Great Britain. The British Racing Green car is surely going to go for a move into the left-hander, then into the right-hander of turn 3. Contact between the two. We're riding on board. It's Klasic who's racing at the moment. He's down the inside. He's into the race lead. Team Great Britain leads the way out of turn number 3, but not for long because Hungary get the exit, they get the cutback, and they're side by side.
Did you see Klasic out of the corner? He was struggling for traction. The tyres really starting to wear now. He was having to juggle the wheel to keep it in a straight line. Looks to the outside though, but there's no grip out there at the moment. So Hungary still takes the place. There was a penalty awarded while we were gone. I think it was to Australia for 3 seconds. That's not really going to affect the results as of now. They're still in 6th position. Japan back up to 3rd. Italy's had an incident, but they're down to 10th. They've gone from 4th to 10th position. What happened there?
Well, big drama then for Italy. We didn't see what happened on camera. We might get a replay of that one later on in the race. Looking at Great Britain though, they are all over the back of Hungary like a bad rash. They're going going to need some cream for that one, but down in towards the penultimate corner. He's trying to find his way past. He's trying to close up and not get caught up too much in that turbulent air. Australia with another 3-second penalty in this one there, Jimmy. So things going from bad to worse. They're in 4th place currently. They're going to drop down just inside, maybe if they're lucky, the top 10.
Oh,
Hong Kong pitting.
That's
first
an
driver
early
change.
pit stop for Hong Kong, that is coming in. We expect to see end of lap 8, end of lap 7. So the driver change is happening now. There'll be one driver in, one driver out. I'm sure we're going to picture in pitch with that most likely. There it is, our driver, new driver seated, just moving the seat to his position, and off we go. Meanwhile, Hungary and Great Britain still going at it. This is the thing around this circuit. When you have a slipstream, there's not really any getting away from anyone. Brazil in as well, so also choosing an early stop.
Brilliant stuff then. So Brazil, will there be a tactic that pays off for them? Of course, they're going to have to go a little bit longer in this mid-stint. Maybe they've realised that they haven't got their quickest driver in the car and they want to get somebody else out. You can see the driver change taking place in the bottom left corner of your screens. Look at this as well. Very close side-by-side racing still between Hungary and Great Britain into the long sweeping left-hand corner. Great Britain gets the switchback. They're going to go side-by-side once again, struggling for traction into the left-hander, and Hungary cuts the nose of Great Britain off. Brilliant racing between the two.
Classic's really struggling with traction there. I'm not quite sure that was a better point to illustrate that, as coming out of that right hand of the rear end of the car, just not playing ball. Ideally, they want one more lap.
Oh, Hungary pitting.
Hungary. Great Britain goes round again. This is going to be the undercut, it seems, at this point.
Let's see whether it's a strategy that pays off then. So medium race tyres for them. They change over to their next racing driver. So let's see what they're going to be able to do here.
That's Tape in the car.
Yep. So he's into the car. He's into the pit lane. The driver change is taking place. You can see more fuel, more tyres, racing medium tyres. Spain in, Hungary in, United States in as well, and France. So everybody making their pit stops then on lap 8. Great Britain trying to go for the overcuts here. Is this going to be a tactic for Classics? Will it work out for him? That means that Japan now and Germany are up into 2nd place. They haven't pitted. They've gone on longer here as well. Tactics very, very important in this one.
It is. Germany still going around now. I'm going to say, Tom, we've seen this in F1 before. We've seen the undercut come in. That is going to be very important here. These guys are now on very, very old tyres. They're going to be going very slow.
Another penalty.
Another penalty. It's just not been that race. Very messy from the Japanese guys so far, who started so strong. But right now, look out for Hungary. GB will be in this lap. I'm going to call that now. I think it's going to be M. Thomas getting in the car next, from what I can see on the stage at the moment.
Well, absolutely. You've got to bet that Great Britain are going to be in this lap as well, as you say there, Jimmy, because they were just struggling so much with grip. Is it going to be a tactic that works out, though, for them? They do indeed dart into the pit lane. So Great Britain, their nearest target was Hungary, and Hungary's not too far away. So I think you're absolutely bob on here, Jimmy. Hungary are going to get the undercut pretty nicely by the looks of things. So Thomas then into the car. The pit stops going on. Let's see how the positions do change. Great Britain going tumbling down the order. The next target is going to be Hungary. Let's see how the gap changes. Japan also in. Hungary goes past. Austria goes past. Is this going to be a tactic that will work for them? Maybe in the latter stages of this one. They'll have fresher tyres on board their machines. You can see as well that Germany, Australia, Great Britain comes out in 3rd place. So, hang on a minute.
He's off
the track, and that allows Hungary through. Big drama, and a mistake from Thomas then coming out of the pit lane does allow Hungary and Austria to go through.
He actually came out ahead of the Hungarians, but then just didn't get on the throttle. I think he got on the throttle a bit too sharp. The rear end got away from him and onto the grass he went. That's going to cost him big time. He is just I think, going to be in the slipstream of the Austrian guys in front. Sorry, I made that mistake a couple of times this week. But at the front, it's Germany. They now have clear air, but they're going to have to pit probably at the end of this lap.
Well, they've got a 5-second advantage over Australia here, Jimmy, but that's not going to be enough for them to hold on to that position. They're going to be dropping down to just inside the top 5, maybe just outside of the top 5, probably outside of it as well.
Well, we have Australia and Austria both pitting on this lap. I'm going to take that risk now. What did Germany do?
Let's see.
They stay out?
They staying out again? Surely not. Lap 9 out of 22 here. Those tyres are going to be like chewing gum by the end of this lap. Surely they're going to be offering absolutely no grip at all. Austria into the pit lane.
Now, there's nothing in the rules that says driver time. It just says
they have to make the pit stops.
Each driver has to make the pit stop. So Michael Hazel, who's one of the faster guys in the German camp, may be opting to do a bit more time.
Well, big drama then. Austria and Australia into the pit lane. So the only nation that hasn't made a pit stop is Germany. Will it be a tactic that pays off for them? Look at France all over the backside of Great Britain now. We're close in terms of the distance apart between countries, and we're very close on circuit as well. France darting down the inside of the AMS corner. Up the inside they go, and Thomas has to relinquish that position.
These guys need to work together now. If they're going to catch the guys in front, they've got to identify that it's faster to run as a pair than run on their own. So Thomas is going to be trying to chase down the French driver as it stands, and of course they have the Hungarians just 2 seconds ahead of them. The German are still yet to pit. I'm looking over, there is a driver waiting right now.
Yeah, it's DRL Lightning in the car. We know how quick he can be. Is he any good on used tyres? Well, he looks to be at the moment. That gap between themselves and Hungary, 10
he's going to come in. He's coming in.
Yeah, he's coming in. You can see him there going towards the inside of the circuit. So this will be a pit stop then on lap 10 out of 22. So Germany into the pit lane. Will it be a tactic that pays off? We know how quick their drivers can be, and who is going to get into the car. Let's wait and see. This is looking at Hungary now as well. You can see them in second position. The driver change taking place for Germany. So a change for them as they drop down the order. Let's see what will happen. Hungary take over at the front, as well as France and Great Britain also going through. But Germany, of course, they've got that pit exit. It is slightly shorter, but they're nowhere near it at the moment in any way, shape or form. A penalty as well here, I can see on our screen, Jimmy, for Hong Kong in 5th place. Germany come out of the pit lane, then they're in 4th position by the looks of things. Just waiting to see what happens as they get themselves onto the racetrack.
Look at France. Sorry, France have pulled away from Team GP through the middle sector and are actively now gaining on the Hungarian driver. This is huge. France, I'm not quite sure who's in the French car right now, but they are absolutely pushing that X2014 to the limit. There is, it's Lenoir in the car at the moment, a very, very fast driver.
And we saw how quick he was, especially at the end of race 3 last time around at the Big Willow Raceway there. You can see his heart monitor going away, 125 beats per minute. It's going up and up and up at the moment. So let's see how he will be able to deal with that pressure. Hong Kong going down the order as they serve that time penalty. So bad to worse then for that nation. Big disappointment for them, a lot of promise. Sadly, not a lot of execution for them.
Not quite sure what happened to Italy there. A real shame. There is our current points ranking. At the moment, Hungarian leading. You see here, and here is the points we expect to see. The points we expect to see right now, if the race finishes as it does. Team GP 5th, Spain 4th, Japan 3rd, France 2nd, and importantly Hungary would take the win.
Very big thanks to our presenter Jack Nichols as well, who's dropped off the drivers chart for us, so we now know who is going to be in the car at each specific time. So we're now on the second out of the drivers that they've got. So it is Lenoir in the French car, as you can see at the moment, but in the Hungarian machine it is Tapai that is leading the way at the moment on the defensive. So let's see what they are going to be able to do, whether they will be able to defend that position. We're already over the halfway stage of this race now, Jimmy, and it's going to be interesting to see when they opt to pit for that second and final time in this race.
You have to really think about it. You can go for the undercut and take the tyre advantage, but if you're following someone around here, that's worth a lot more time than the undercut is. So you have to make the choice, right, do I want to stay in the slipstream or do I want to go around one more time? French driver now, Lenoir, is right on the back, and that is who's out in the car right now? That is Taipei in the car, sorry, as we said before, right on the back of the Hungarian driver, and just seemingly waiting now, maybe just staying behind.
Oh, they're going to the pits, are they? They're going towards the inside of the circuit. Maybe they're ducking out of the slipstream there.
I think he's just saying, look, I'm behind you, but they're mind games there, of course. If the driver's looking in his mirrors, he isn't looking at the apex of the next corner.
Look at the face of Tapai on the bottom left corner of your screen. Full concentration from the Hungarian. France pulling out of the slipstream down towards the first corner, perhaps trying to distract Hungary at the moment, try and make them look in their mirrors, maybe just miss their braking point by a couple of metres. Sometimes that is all it will take to try and find their way past. Going defensive they are. You can see France trying to pull alongside them. They're going to have to go the long way round, though, into turn number 3 here. They're side by side and going down onto the brakes. Hungary brakes later.
Not quite. There is another warning for Japan. They've been a little bit faster. France goes to the inside but gets the oversteer, gets in the throttle a bit too much. The rear tyres spin up and the car loses traction, and that lets the Hungarian driver have a little breath of fresh air. Now, just to very quickly mention something, the Great Britain driver is M. Thomas, currently in the car at the moment. He is actually a pad user. He doesn't usually use a wheel, so he's come here without the knowledge of without being used to using a wheel, and still has that GP car in 3rd place. What a performance.
Look at Spain and Japan as well. Japan's having a bit of a shocker of a run out of that corner, and Spain are all over their rear wing at the moment. Through the middle sector they go, and you can see visibly how much faster Spain are in this particular point. It's Ithal Thugasa at the moment behind the wheel of that Red Bull X2014 machine, behind the wheel of the Japanese car. It is Nakao, and they're going very, very close indeed, and surely you can sense it's going to be a matter of when and not if for Spain to try and find their way past their Japanese competitors.
Yeah, Germany down in 8th position now. Maybe that was the...
And Hong Kong in the pit lane again as well, Jimmy.
Hong Kong coming in early again, so that'll be their final stop. They've got to go very far on that last set of tyres. We'll see if that works out for them.
Japan again getting a bit wide, bit on the exit, so that is going to compromise their run out of turn number 1, through turn 2 and through turn 3. They go defensive, they try and force Spain to go all the way around the outside, and Ifal Tugasa is going to try and find his way up the inside at the AMS corner, but he's no way through there at the moment. Maybe he'll have to wait just another day to try and find his way through. Meanwhile, Italy now down in 11th position, having been handed a penalty. Brazil also in the pits, Jimmy.
Been a bad race for Italy so far, and Germany really. They've just been really in the wars, not usually their own fault, but still down below the top 6. We're currently looking at the Spanish car, of course, in that Spanish flag livery. Great to see the Gran Turismo livery editor being actually used in this. We don't really get that so much in the big events. It's great to see it make an appearance, of course. So the Brazilians in for their final stop, presumably. That might go again. Only 2 stops really required for this race for the driver change. And here is the Spanish driver, well, saying right onto the back of the Japanese driver, but it looks like Hungary pitted in. Hungary pitted in for their last stop. Now, this is big, because France are around on their own now. Team GP gaining on the French team as well.
Spain also in.
We have Blajan in the car, and we know how fast Blajan is, so this is going to be a sprint to the finish now. People now taking their last pit stops. There is Rincon in the car as well.
Yeah, I can see the drivers just changing from our commentary position here, Jimmy, as well, and they're all looking pretty tired after that one. A lot of mental concentration going in. Hungary then out of the pit lane in 6th position. Let's not forget the drivers in front have not pitted yet. They are still on their first pit stop. They've got one more to make in this race at a very, very minimum, and big contact as well between them. Into the back of Germany, into the back of Australia go Germany as well, and Hungary perhaps just cold tyres there, a little bit unsighted on the brakes and going straight into the back of them.
This is our out lap, Tom. It needs to be a good lap if they are pitting at a different point than the French guys are. So this is actually terrible for Hungary, and this could allow France to get the gap they need when they come out of the pit stop.
And they're going to have to be careful as well, because race direction, we already know they've been handing out a plethora of penalties so far this evening. Let's see whether they're going to hand out any more, potentially because of that incident. Let's see. It is indeed under investigation. You can see between Germany, Hungary, France in the pits.
Look how close the GB car is, though. They've gained up massively there. That French driver, Lenoir, must be really struggling now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Great Britain have done an absolute masterstroke then here. Let's see what will happen. So into the French car then will go Garnier, and into the Great British car will go Martin Grady. And we know how fast Martin Grady can be on his day as well.
Both men of experience, I should say. And here they are, out nose to tail. Importantly, here comes the Hungarian car and the Australian car. Where is Hungary? They're being slowed up massively by Australia. Who's going to come out in the net lead of this race?
They're ahead.
GB and France are ahead as well. Hungary behind the 2, importantly, so it's lost 2 positions there in the pit stop.
Wow, that's big drama, and let's not forget that incident is still under investigation by race direction, so there might be a penalty handed out for Hungary just to rub salt into the wound for them. France now in 2nd position. All over the back of them is Great Britain. In the lead of the race now is Japan, but they haven't made their 2nd pit stop, and you know, because of the gap that they've got, just 6.7 seconds, that they will be passed by the drivers behind, unless they have some kind of an absolute miracle dash to the finish.
Hungary wide again at the exit. They're losing time hand over fist at the moment, down to 6th, and with a penalty.
Hungary, yeah, 3-second penalty.
This is terrible for them at the moment. They're still in a good position, but the thing is, if France or GB do well in this race, there is a chance, a slight chance, that Hungary will not be coming away with the championship here.
Well, this is very, very big indeed. Japan into the pit lane then, lap 16 out of 22. Into the box they go. They're going to lose their race lead. It now becomes a de facto race lead between France and Great Britain. It's going to be an all-out battle on the circuit for this race lead. Australia going past. Austria surely going to go through. Now Australia in the pits. Austria also in the pits. So 3 nations in the pits then at the start of lap 17. France go wide out of turn 1 there, Jimmy, and Great Britain closing. So France are going to have to hope that Garnier has got something in his back pocket, or Grady is going to find his way through and into that race lead here in the final.
What a climax this is building to here at the Red Bull win at the Gran Turismo World Tour event. Here comes Martin Grady to the inside there of Garnier. He's going to come down to T3. Look how cool and collected Martin looks there. on the brakes. He's not going to go for it just yet, but he is in the prime position. He has the slipstream. As long as he can stay there, he can choose his moment to attack.
He's got lots of experience here as well. Here's the live points ranking there, Jimmy. As it stands, Hungary would still have the championship victory in the Nations Cup at the moment, but only by 3 points ahead of France. So France need to win this, and they need to hope that Hungary have an absolute shocker more than anything, because it's double points in this race, let's not forget. Instead of 14 points for the winners, it's 28 points.
If Hong Kong and Japan have a good finish to the end of this race, there is a chance that Hungary will lose that place, and that might promote France up to the actual winners of the entire Nations Cup, although they need to beat Team GB. And if Martin Grady has anything to say about that, that's going to be a very difficult task. Here we are then, T1 again, for the 18th time of asking. Grady a little bit slow off the exit there. Garnier using all the track, a bit more.
Oh,
there goes Team GB!
Great Britain leads!
Oh my!
My goodness me, on lap 18 out of 22, Britain leads the way, but down in towards turn 3, are they going to find a way through? France, there's contact between them! Oh no! France and Great Britain make contact, and surely Race Direction will be looking at that one. Just a bit too eager on the brakes there for Garnier behind the wheel of the X2014. Grady still manages to hold on to the lead. He still leads the way, but they're still 3.5 laps from home here as well.
This is great news for Hungary. They need GB to win this race if their championship is going to be secure. Martin Grady now has a clear track, but importantly, the French drivers now have the slipstream. So it's going to be Garnier. He is now going to try and pull back up to the rear of that British Racing green liveried X2014, but in the background Spain as well. If these guys fight too hard, there'll be a Spanish driver there to pick up the pieces, and France, the French driver, pulling back up to the rear wing of Martin Grady once more.
Wow, big drama indeed. Let's see whether Race Direction do investigate that incident between France and Great Britain. We've seen penalties handed out for a very similar incident following that one, and very close on the brakes into turn 1 as well. Then France looking very racy indeed. Great exit, they're on the grass as well. You can see the pressure's on, you can see his heart is beating out of his chest at the moment now as well. And France going to try and take the lead of the race away down into turn 3. Up the inside go France on Great Britain. Side by side they were, and France now leads the way. The French commentators just over the way from us here, Jimmy, they are going absolutely apoplectic following that.
And I kind of hope that the GB guy will win, because you won't hear the end of it if the French guys win. But of course, as objective commentators, you won't talk about that too much. In the background, Hungary up to P3. They are not done in this race yet, and they are within striking distance of the top 2. This could be a 3 or 4 car race to the finish now, Tom.
Well, this is very exciting indeed. So you can see the 3 contingents there, 3rd, 4th and 5th of Hungary, Spain and Japan, looking very close indeed. You can see the live points ranking on the right side of your screen. Hungary would take it, a 5-point advantage over Great Britain. So this could be very crucial indeed, with Hungary making their ascension through the field here. And if they finish behind Great Britain, I'm just going to try and do the maths on the point standings here there, Jimmy, and try and find out exactly what the place would be if France finished in 2nd position. There would be a 4-point difference between them, so Hungary would still take it by just 1 point.
Look at this now, Tom. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all in your picture. We're with Spain now. They're all coming back together. I thought it was only going to be a 2-car race. Hungary coming back. This could be going down to P3 there for Team GB, although they're in the 16 with France as well. So here they are, all coming up to T2. Hong Kong getting involved as well. We are 20 laps into this race, and the top 5 are covered by less than a second. This is absolutely fantastic race, and this is what the World Tour is all about.
Absolutely brilliant stuff from all the competitors here. And look at it now, it's almost nearly, in some instances, a 5-way scrap for this race lead. Just 1.5 laps remaining here at the Red Bull ring to decide the winner of this final. And it's anybody's guess at the moment. Nobody knows who's going to do it. We know that Hungary and France are battling for the championship, and whatever outcome happens here this evening could be absolutely crucial in this Nations Cup.
Absolute snake of cars now. We're going to be coming on to the penultimate lap. Hungary, GB, all in your picture right now, coming round the last corner. Now, it's going to become a very high-speed game of chess. There is Blajan there, on board, looking determined, just taking a check in his mirrors to make sure no one's going to have a go. Just puts the car to the inside, says, please don't overtake me here. Let's do it here. Not a bad exit from Grady there. Bad exit from the Hungarian, from Blajan. That's going to allow the Spanish driver to get up behind. Of course, now that slipstream isn't going to be as effective from this far back.
USA being given a penalty there, Jimmy, down into 9th position. They're other running France, having to defend from Great Britain. Britain down the inside. Do they get the lead of the race? They're very close. There's no contact between them, but they're going to compromise their exit. They're still going to run side by side. France retain the lead. Here comes Hungary now as well in the slipstream. A three-way battle for the race lead. Down in towards the following corner. Hungary trying to find their way down the inside. Great Britain trying to lead the way. France holds on to it on the upshot. Spain and Japan going side by side as well.
This is going to be an absolutely fantastic last lap. I can tell you that now for free. Grady there, still holding on to second place. The thing is, you make a mistake, you take a lunge, you get it wrong, you're going to be passed by not one, not two, but probably even 3 cars at this point. All the pressure right now is on Garnier, the French driver. Can he hold on for one more lap?
You just get the feeling, don't you, that this is going to end badly somewhere along the line. We've got another lap to go here at the very short, very tight and twisty, but yet very quick Red Bull Ring. And it's the Nations Cup final. It is all to play for with double points. It's all to play for the championship as well. Japan and Spain going nearly into the wall. Great Britain going for the race lead as well against France. Down the inside, nearly in the first corner. There's contact between them. France going off at turn number 1.
Here comes Hungary now, going to take advantage of the bad run through there. Grady just a little bit too polite, I think, on the apex and let France get away, but that's like the Hungarian driver.
Down to turn 3. Here comes Hungary.
Japan in the background. Oh my, it's all happening
France
now.
Are off, and Hungary are off as well, nearly. Wow, big drama, and France might have thrown it all away here. Hungary now leads the way. France down to 3rd position.
Here comes Grady on the outside.
Here comes Grady. Is he going to do it for Britain? Down in towards the right-hander. Nearly side by side they run. Britain on the outside. They have to compromise the exit. Surely it's going to be in the final sector where we see these moves being made.
He got muscled out there again, not being as aggressive as he could be through there. A little bit of an incident in the background, but right now it's Hungary leading. This is their race. They've come from third to first on the last lap now. The last only 2 more corners to go. Team GP in the background. In the background we have Japan, France and Hong Kong all together there. Almost 3 wide in the background with Japan leading, Hong Kong up to 4th. France have gone from 1st to 5th in 1 lap. Here it is then, last corner, and it will be Hungary that takes the win from Team GP here at the Red Bull Ring.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. Hungary takes the victory by 2/10 of a second and the Nations Cup final title. Absolutely incredible. Great Britain in 2nd, Japan on the podium in 3rd place, France in 4th, Hong Kong in 5th position. There was an incident under investigation there as well by the race stewards, so we'll see how that one is deciphered and whether there are any post-race penalties. But undisputedly there, Jimmy, Hungary win the Nations Cup here tonight at the GT Sport World Tour at the Red Bull Hangar-7.
What an absolutely epic race that was, Tom. It seems that time and time again the World Tour just delivers fantastic, clean and most importantly exciting racing. And of course the Hungarians doing a fantastic job across all races we've seen this evening, and there they are, they're the 3 drivers. They don't look very happy having that result, but I think they're probably just trying to calm down after that.
Yeah, you can see how much their BPM was going over the course of that race, Jimmy, as you say, and it really was an absolutely electric performance. We can see from our commentary position all the competitors shaking hands with one another and embracing them following that particular race.
Well, so that's it. That's the end of our Nations Cup, our first championship here for the Gran Turismo World Tour. And why don't we invite on our winners? So in 3rd place, we have Spain. Give them a big round of applause, please. Yes! I can hear the Spanish commentators over there. Well done. They're going to come up onto the podium in 3rd place. We did incredibly well. Yes. And in... Hug it out. You can fit on there, just about. And in 2nd place, we have France. Yes! And in 1st place, we have Hungary! The winner of our Nations Cup here at GT World Tour. Fantastic, they did really well, winning 2 out of the 3 races there. So they're very happy. So I think we have the awards to hand out. So while they get there, get a few photos taken. Okay, this is Stephanie Lugger, who's our chief steward, handing out the third place there to Spain. Well done. And then handing out our second place position is Stefan Filastra, who's the head of brand from the FIA. And then, of course, to hand out our first place, we have the creator of Gran Turismo, Yamauchi-san. Yamauchi-san. And we are also handing out the award for the fastest time, which obviously goes... Yes, who wins a fantastic, beautiful, beautiful watch there. So big round of applause for all of our teams. They've done incredibly well in our first Gran Turismo World Tour Nations Cup.